It takes vulnerability to truly create that connection, because in order for your employees to feel comfortable in telling you their personal goals or letting you know what they're into and what their personal interests are, or opening up about failures that they have, all of these things require the employee to get vulnerable. And the only way that they're going to feel comfortable with that is by you setting the example of vulnerability. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Balanced Business Coach. My name is Tony Robinson, and I talk about all things leadership, balance in life and work, toxic workplace environments, and overall just how to create the best version of yourself so that you can be the best leader and make the biggest impact on your workplace. Today we're going to be talking about trust and how you can really create trust in creative ways in the workplace. Whether you're a first-time leader or a seasoned professional, this is something that is going to make a huge impact on your ability to build trust within your team and other members in your organization. I think we all know why trust is so important. It's extremely crucial to have trust in any relationship, personal or professional. And in the workplace, when you have very different dynamics, people who come from different backgrounds, people who have different life experiences than you, it can be really difficult to find trust, especially because these are not always your chosen people, but they are who you've been assigned to work with. So with that comes its own set of challenges, and it's really important that you trust each other when you're working on a team. As a leader, it's extremely important that your employees trust you because you are their guide. You are the person that they are looking to take them to their next level of success, to get them to where they need to go in their career. If you don't have trust, there can be a lot of gossip, blaming, not wanting to work together. There could be a lot of rework or issues with certain projects if people aren't collaborating. And overall, not having trust just builds negativity. It just creates a culture of ickness. That's a word. So everything that I talk about today is going to be fundamental level of building trust, but also maybe some creative ways to build trust that you haven't thought of before. I've got 5 different ways for us to build trust today, so let's dive in. Okay, the first strategy is reverse mentoring. So picture somebody fresh out of college coming into a workplace, sitting down with a senior executive and teaching them all of the newest technology, really amazing techniques of how to use social media to get new business and how to market yourself in the best way possible as a business, as a brand, and really teaching that person and opening them up to different and fresh perspectives. And this isn't just about technology. This is about showing that college student, that new person coming onto your team, that you value their perspective, that you want to be open to new ways of doing business, to new ideas. It creates a mutual respect between the leader and the employee, which is so important because I feel like a lot of times what happens is a new employee comes in the workplace and leaders just automatically assert their dominance over that person or kind of make them feel like, I know everything. The new employee doesn't have a chance to get their fresh perspective out to the team, and it automatically makes them feel less than. It makes them feel like they are not as valued or their opinions are not as valued. And ultimately, as a leader, it allows you to see blind spots for the employee. It almost exposes you to where their knowledge gaps are and where you can really hone in on teaching them and leading them and guiding them, because they are showing you ways, and through that you can say, hey, that is absolutely a wonderful idea. I love that. But one thing you may not have thought of, or something you may want to consider with this, is X, Y, and Z. While they are teaching you and you are gaining experience and you are gaining new knowledge, you're also teaching them And it's this mutual back and forth collaborative relationship that really builds a foundation of trust. So if you have new employees or are trying to reestablish your team, taking the time to sit down and ask them to teach you, ask them to mentor you is going to be a really big game changer for your team. Okay, so the next strategy is failing forward. So allowing your team to have a culture of viewing failure as a success, being so in love with failing and so excited when you fail, being almost more happy about failing because of the lessons that you learn than you are about winning. Failing is all about a process. It's just steps to success. And you literally cannot get to where you are without failures. It's how we learn. It's human nature. When you were a baby, every single time you tried to crawl or take a step, you would fall down. It took failure until the point where you walk. At some point in our life, we stop appreciating the failures, or we stop pursuing the success. We take one failure and we just stop it all there. We just cut everything off and we feel ashamed, we feel embarrassed. We just take it and we shut down. Imagine if we did that as babies. We are not meant to stop at our failures. We're meant to keep going. We're meant to keep going until we get that success. So make sure that you are creating a culture on your team of celebrating failures, sharing stories of failure. Even you as a leader, share your failures. Share your stories where you did it wrong, where you got it wrong, where you had a setback, and how you came back from that and what you learned. Don't be afraid to get vulnerable, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, but don't be afraid to get vulnerable and share your failures. And the more you share yours and encourage people to share theirs as learning moments, as one step closer to success, the better your team will be at encouraging each other and moving forward through setbacks and hardships. Another amazing strategy for building trust is using personalized appreciation. So not just saying, hey, Tony, I appreciate you for all you do. Like, that's lovely. Everyone appreciates a thank you. But the way to really build trust and connection with your team is to do a personalized approach to appreciation. So let's say that your employee loves Dancing with the Stars. So it's like one of their favorite shows. They have like a whole, thing about Dancing with the Stars. They're like obsessed, whatever. In order to show your appreciation, you could maybe get them tickets to a live Dancing with the Stars show when they are on tour, just to show your appreciation for maybe a big project that they did or a new sale that they closed. Whatever it is, allowing their personal interest to be the way you show your appreciation. Not only does it show that you listen to them, that you pay attention, but it also shows that you really value them enough to reward them in a way that is beneficial to them personally, rather than just, benefiting you professionally. Overall, it's just a really powerful way to build trust and loyalty and show that employee that you really care and that you're paying attention. Another way to build trust and connection on your team is to advocate for personal goals. So learn about your employees' personal goals and vision for their life, not only professionally, but especially personally, because a lot of the reason why they work for your company is to fulfill personal goals. So when a leader takes interest in the personal goals and the personal lives of their team members in a healthy way, it does so many wonderful things for the culture and the morale for the team. It shows that you're not only interested in the company's bottom line, but you are interested in the overall well-being of your employees. You could do this by offering flexible work schedules. You could offer some personal development days or professional development days. You could provide them with resources for learning or giving them like a stipend of some sort to contribute to their personal goals. Or you could just honestly be a sounding board for their ideas and their dreams. Brainstorm with them. If you are a visionary leader and you are the type that likes to dream big and has big ideas, or likes to, really encourage people and motivate them, and really that transformative leadership, this is such a good way to build trust and connection with your team, because you have it in you to motivate them and push them to their next level. That is going to create so much loyalty for them to you, because they look at you as not only their manager or their leader, but a true mentor in life. Okay, and the last strategy is vulnerability. So this one I had talked a little bit about earlier, but really with all of these, it takes vulnerability to truly create that connection. Because in order for your employees to feel comfortable in telling you their personal goals, or letting you know what they're into and what their personal interests are, or opening up about failures that they have, all of these things require the employee to get vulnerable. And the only way that they're going to feel comfortable with that is by you setting the example of vulnerability. This is hands down the most transformative strategy of them all. So make sure that you implement this one. If you implement any of these, this is the one right here. When you share your own challenges and your own obstacles that you've had to overcome as a leader, it's not a weakness. It's not a sign of weakness. It's showing that you're relatable. It's showing that it's possible to overcome. It's showing what is possible for them. You got to where you are because of your shortcomings and your failures and the fact that you kept going anyway. So showing those things and sharing them, opening up and giving those stories to your employees are only going to allow them to feel inspired and motivated by you as a leader. When they feel like they can relate to you, it bridges a gap between you as the leader and them as your employees. I know that in my experience, I always shared my shortcomings or my failures with my team, because it allowed them to see why I was advising them to take a certain path. It gave them understanding and perspective into why I do things the way I do. Because you can look at the way somebody does something and think, why would they do that? Why is she doing it like that? Because I've been around the block. I saw the way this works. I had this happen to me. I totally fucked up and I did this. That's why. This is what happened. It may look like you can do it that way. That shortcut may look like a good idea, but this is where it's going to lead. And so when you're able to open up and share those failures and share those stories, not only are you creating that connection, but you're also creating understanding for your employees. The key to successfully sharing vulnerability, though, means that you need to not overshare. You don't want to burden your employees. You just want to show that you are also human and that you have faced challenges. So an example of a story that would be appropriate to share, let's say that you are leading a project and you have really tight deadlines. And even though you've been trying your best to keep things organized and on track, the team is completely falling behind. An appropriate way to handle this situation and share your shortcomings would be to call a team meeting and say, I realize that I may have set some overly ambitious goals without fully considering everyone's workload. And I also realize that this oversight has caused a lot of pressure on all of us unnecessarily. I really want to work through this together. I want to understand everybody's workload. I want to reassess the timeline, and I want to ensure that we have a realistic plan going forward. I really appreciate all the work that you've done on this project, and I'm really committed to making this better so that we can succeed as a team. Okay, so that would be an example of an appropriate way to handle that situation. The reason it's appropriate is because it acknowledges that you've made a mistake and the impact that it's made on your team. It demonstrates accountability, and it also gives room for the team to give you feedback. It focuses on collective action and support, and it reinforces that trust without burdening the team further. An inappropriate way to handle this situation would be to, again, let's say you call your team together and saying something like, "You guys, I've been really struggling with some personal issues lately. I'm dealing with a breakup and I've just been so tired and so sad, and I've been really busy trying to keep myself distracted. It's just been so hard to focus and I'm such a mess, and I know we're behind, but I just really appreciate you guys sticking in there with me." So while you are admitting to the fact that you have some issues going on and you're admitting to your shortcomings, you're admitting to your failures, it's burdening the team. It's not focusing on a solution. It's really just complaining. While it's human to experience personal issues, it's really not professional to be sharing details like that, especially with people who report directly to you. When you share personal challenges like that, it can make it really hard for your employees to not feel emotionally burdened, and they will stop seeing you as someone who can guide them through tough situations because you're not able to guide yourself through your tough situation. It just shifts the focus from problem solving to emotional consoling, because eventually your employees are going to be there to console you and try to make you feel better, and that is really super unprofessional in the workplace. That's not what your employees are there to do. A couple of guidelines for you when you are trying to implement vulnerability in the workplace. Number one, it has to be relevant. Check your relevance. Ensure the story or the challenge that you share is relevant for your team or is relevant to the work that you guys are currently working on. Number two, check your purpose. Ensure that the intention behind sharing is to build trust and foster open communication, not just to offload your personal stress. The third guideline is to check your personal boundaries. You need to maintain that balance that respects professional boundaries while also focusing on learning a lesson or seeking solutions, rather than delving into personal issues. And the fourth guideline is to make sure that it's action-oriented. So you're not just sharing this for the hell of it. Make sure that the story you're sharing is action-oriented, something that allows you to connect your vulnerability to actions or changes that can be implemented to improve a situation or solve a problem. As I mentioned before, vulnerability is an extremely powerful strategy to foster trust and build a resilient team. However, it does require thoughtful consideration of what you share and how. So those are my 5 lovely ways that you can start building trust within your team. This will also build an incredible connection, and I guarantee you your team will be stronger and more resilient than ever if you have all of these strategies implemented. If you have any questions, I am absolutely here to help. All of the information on how to contact me or how to work with me is down below in the description. If this was helpful, I would love it if you liked and shared this video. And if you would like to see more, please hit that subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Take care.